to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Okay, so how long have you been doing martial arts?
I've been doing it since I was 16. I'm now 65, so it's been a long time.
You're 65. You look amazing. I was like, wow. See, I saw that martial arts. I mean, you don't age, I guess.
Yeah. Good genes from my parents, too.
Wow, that's really impressive. So you've been doing it that long, but then you said you had like a real job. And then
Yes.
you use this. So tell us the difference. When did it become like that job, and you combine both?
Yeah, I called it my grown-up job. So when I graduated from college, I went to work for the city of Fresno. The first thing I thought of was, boy, this regular job really gets in the way of my training. But as I kept doing it, I started learning that there is a lot of crossover. So work-life balance isn't always both sides. Sometimes some things fall in the middle. So I started applying some of the martial arts philosophy and things I've learned to help me do my job, and that made life much better.
So what were some of the examples?
Well, it would help me think fast and not give up. So we do a lot of sparring. So when you're sparring, you're really present, right? You can't let your mind wander when you're sparring. So when a problem would come up, I wouldn't let my mind wander. The story that comes up is it was a Friday before a holiday, and the city manager called me and says, we need to knock down the bathrooms in Roding Park on Monday. And I said, well, it's a holiday. She goes, okay, then Tuesday. So I got a couple of lucky breaks. I called Public Works and said, hey, can we knock down those bathrooms? And somebody answered. And they said, no, you can't knock those down because we have to abate them, from all the asbestos. I go, oh, I don't like telling the city manager no. So my mind, I'd worked as fast as I could. I said, okay, they don't want people to go into the bathrooms. I said, do we have a requirements contract with a chain link fence company? They said, yes. So I called that company up and says, can you wrap these bathrooms so nobody can go in? They said, yes, we can. So I was able to call the city manager back. We can't knock them down. We can wrap them so nobody can go in. And he says, oh, okay, that works. That's why you're Gary. Thanks.
And that seems so much easier than knocking him down.
Yeah, it's just that I was really stressed trying to find an answer.
That's a really good example, but that's true. I mean, when you think about it, that's true. But I love it. You're like, I'm not going to be able to. There's always a solution. I like people that think like that. Okay, so now you have like your own place where you practice. I heard you have an amazing class. Tell us about that. How do you go from the day job to this?
Well, I found that you have to combine things you've done. So I've done martial arts, and I'm not athletically gifted. I wasn't going to be a martial arts fighter or a star. But I knew martial arts very well, and I know what people who work a regular job go through. So I came up with the idea, what would martial arts look like for grown-ups? So I structure my class so that way it fits what a grown-up could do. So one of the things—
Interesting. Yeah. I like that.
One thing I noticed that the grown-ups like the skill building. So my class is completely teaching them the skill. They don't need to do jumping jacks. They don't need to do push-ups. If they come late, it's okay. I use that as an example. A lady showed up about 20 minutes late, and she says, I was stuck in the meeting, but I came anyway. I said, good, because that's what happens to grown-ups. You get stuck in the meeting. I'm so glad you're here.
That's really cool, and I think that's really awesome to design it like that, because you're right, there are a lot of like martial arts where it's all ages and people feel very intimidated. Mm-hmm. And one of our mutual friends that we were talking about earlier that has this spa, it's a little bit different because it's MMA. One of my friends went in there, like had the outfit, she was all ready to go. She went in and walked in there and was like, oh yeah, I couldn't do it. Like it wasn't for me. And I think she felt a little maybe intimidated, but even though it's all levels, people still kind of feel, they always say that all levels, but people kind of want something more their level. So I like that you're designing it that way.
Yeah, and I make sure that I always say I scale it, but I don't water down. Once in a while, I'm called in as like a consultant for MMA, like a friend will have a fighter and go, would you help them with their striking? Well, I teach them the same thing that I teach somebody who's working. It just might be scaled a little differently. In fact, I had a friend, had a husband that had ALS, and I taught him, and I did not water it down.
Oh, I bet he loved that.
I scaled it for him. And my goal was that if you were to record all of my classes and listened to them, you could not tell which one was his class. That's kind of the picture I had in my mind when I did the class.
That. So how long has this been going on? When did you start all this? About
5 years ago. So when I turned 60, I sparred 60 rounds at my gym, and I boxed. It's not as bad as this.
I feel like an underachiever right now. Okay.
Well, I have a rule. You don't get to play unless you like me. So these people aren't trying to take my heads off.
Wow. Okay. So you did the 60 rounds, and then you're like...
And I got the school started. So now I'm coming up on 65. So I'm going to do it again. But I'm going to do it 65 rounds, but I'm also going to do kickboxing this time. Because a couple of years ago, I had both my hips replaced. So I want to prove that I can kick and punch for my 65 rounds.
What was that like when you got both your... Because I've actually had this conversation recently with people that are like, well, I'm never going to get that. I'm never going to get that. Because a lot of people that have it, like, no, it's the best thing. You should get that. And I think when we're physical, you've grown up doing this whole your whole life, you feel like somehow that... I don't know, when you were going through decision making, like that would make you a weaker person or not as strong as you were or whatever. What made you make the decision that, no, I'm going to get my hip, and that was a good decision for you?
So what really helped me, a friend of mine was a physical therapist, and I asked him about, look, my hips really hurt. And he looked at my x-rays, and he said, if your hips really hurt, get them replaced. It's a very easy surgery. Because if you don't get your hip replaced, it's going to go to your knees and to your ankles. And knees and ankles, the surgery is way worse.
Yeah.
So I never thought of it that way, so that was very prudent advice to me. So that's when I decided, okay, I went to a doctor, and I said I was going to get my hips replaced. And this doctor fortunately told me that I would be able to kick again, because another doctor told me I wouldn't be able to. And since then, I've also picked up another art called savate, which is a French kickboxing. And I got a lot of encouragement from the top coach in the country who I'd never met. I instant messaged him on Facebook, and he says, you're going to be fine. I got my hip replaced. I'm still kicking. So
that's good. You had a good supportive system, and you can ask that were like, yeah. Okay, I'm glad that you brought that up. What's it called, savate?
Savate, uh-huh.
So how do you get in all these different martial arts? So I've done some, and I think it's the best exercise in the world. So I'm sure you started one way, but now you have all this knowledge and you do all these things. How did you get into all of that, the different ones?
Okay, so started out with Shotokan karate, which is very traditional Japanese.
Okay.
My best friend had moved to Marina Del Rey from Fresno, and he would meet all the top martial artists. So he would say, hey, you want to come and train? You can do. He got me into jiu-jitsu, into Western boxing, Muay Thai, and some savate. So through him, I was able to try a lot of different things. I finally settled on the system that I started my base. It's called Crazy Monkey, and it was it was developed by Dr. Rodney King out of South Africa.
Wow, Crazy Monkey, okay.
Yeah, the reason I stuck with that was because he had such a great way of teaching it and sequencing the lessons. I thought, this is easy to learn. I can teach this. So I've never given up on that system. Now I'm adding the savate, but I won't give up on the Crazy Monkey system.
So you kind of, you've integrated it all in what you're teaching now. People still do the Muay Thai, the savate, the crazy. Okay. Man, I'm really curious about this Crazy Monkey is. What makes it a little, what's the system that makes it better than all the others, or how they teach it?
Well, first of all, he sets the structure so well. So if you get the structure and the basics right, he teaches you get this right, everything else will start falling into place. But the most important thing he did was he made sparring safe and makes you comfortable sparring. Because a lot of schools, sparring is they're just fighting.
That's what I would need. His nose is never breaking again. I've always said that's why I get hesitant. So with you, it will never break again.
No, not with my people. They all spar with control, and they're all very good.
Okay. So what's the range of adults that are coming to this class?
I have some teenagers, but a lot of them are 50, 60, and up to 70.
Okay, so you're willing to do all kinds of people. And then there's levels, so some people, like maybe a 50-year-old, a 7-year-old being different, they'd feel comfortable in the same class and all of that?
Yes, they would feel comfortable. All of them in the same class, because I don't have any fighters. If I train fighters, I do it aside from what I do. Like I work with another coach that's a friend.
Okay, so this is like when we go there, we're going there to get an exercise, learn some techniques that we can use in the real world. So that's what we're getting, like the training, but we're training it more for as an exercise and a practice, and
mostly the technique. That's why I really push. So it's not like aerobic kickboxing where I'm trying to keep your heart rate up at a certain. I want to make sure that you learn the technique. One of my friends described me to his friend. He says, "This is Gary. He will adjust your pinky toe to make sure you punch right." And that was I thought that was a really good description. I was very proud of that. But so when you come to my class, I will make sure that you learn it correctly.
How many times do you get people that think they have they think they know everything, and then you take away everything they ever knew and you teach them like the right technique? Because I think a lot of people have learned wrong too. Mm-hmm. So how do you get them readjusted and learning your way?
That hasn't happened so much with the older people. When I was younger and I was teaching people who wanted to do MMA, I had to deal a lot with that. Imagine. Oh, it was. I had these two steel workers. These guys, they weren't fighters, but they were. You can imagine they're really strong, and all they did was try to hit the pads harder than the other. And I said, "No, look, I just need speed and rhythm and technique." And finally, I pulled one of my female students who's the executive secretary, and I said, "Give me a 4-punch combo, finish it up with a kick." And she did pop, 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 pop. I go, "See, that's what I want." And they said, "Wow, she should be fighting in a ring." She's an executive secretary. She's not going to be fighting in a ring. But that's what I use. I don't get that as much, but some guys are so focused on the power, and to me, power is the last thing. It's trajectory, rhythm, speed. Power is last. And I think that's the hardest thing for guys sometimes, that the power is the last thing that you put in.
Has, God forbid, anyone had to use your techniques in real life that you're aware of?
No, I don't.
Not that you're aware of.
Earlier, yeah. I think one of the younger guys did get in a fight. But as far as like women's self-defense, I tell them if it gets to this, a lot of things along the way went wrong. I have a thing I tell them. It's that remember this is the most important thing. If it feels creepy, it's creepy. A woman's strongest power is her intuition. If something doesn't feel right, you need to go with it and not disregard it. I was reading a book by Gavin DeBecker, and I was watching him on a podcast, and he was saying that every police report he's read where bad things happen to women, almost all of them, they asked him, "Did you notice anything?" And they did.
I totally 100% agree with you. Their instincts are just so powerful. We just got to listen to them.
Yeah, if any women watch this podcast, and if that's what they get, I'd be really happy, because I think that's so important.
Well, I actually just had this conversation the other day. So my instincts are like always 100% correct. I think it's 99% correct. And I was like, but if you wonder why everything doesn't go perfectly planned, I'm not always listening to them. But so no, that's really important to train that. Well, how many people are in a class?
My classes are very small. I don't do any advertising. It's a weird thing. It seems like the people that need me find me.
Well, what do you prefer? What do you like to keep your class?
About 5 or 6.
Okay.
And most of the time it's 2 to 4.
So you're never gonna do like a 20-person.
I only do a big class. I have done workshops that are team building workshops that include kickboxing, and I teach them how the kickboxing training translates to their work life. And in that case, I'll do like 20 people, because it's a 4 to 6 hour workshop.
So what is coming up? What's this challenge that you're doing?
Oh, the 65 rounds?
Is that the one that, the flyer that I have?
Oh yeah, for the PAL?
Okay, yeah, the PAL.
So I want to spar 65 rounds for my 65th birthday, and I want to do it as a fundraiser for PAL.
And so explain to our viewers about PAL.
PAL is the Police Activities League, and they have a lot of sports programs, include a lot of boxing programs and other athletic programs as after school activities for, I don't know how young, but I know they're teenagers there.
I love it because, I think Wilma's been on here a few times. People that know Wilma, she's a very advocate for children and stuff, and that's how she kind of got involved in this. How did you get involved in working with PAL?
Well, one of my friends, Lindsay Dozier, she's a coach at PAL, and they have a really nice facility. It's a boxing ring. My gym is a little bit small, and we have grappling mats. So I was thinking, boy, having a lot of people here for this event would be hard. So I asked Lindsay if I could do a fundraiser for PAL and use their boxing ring in their facility, and more people could come in.
And so you've done this before?
The 60 rounds? Yeah, I've done 60 rounds, but
never as a fundraiser. This is the first.
Oh, actually, the first one I did the fundraiser for CASA. So
that's how you got with the
women's organization.
But it's so like it's so similar. Like it's still helping like the same people. So that's pretty cool. So you did CASA, and then and that's how you met them, and then now you're doing this with PAL. That's really cool. What's the goal? How much are you trying to raise?
I hope to raise a few thousand. Okay. I mean, even at the small event.
Did you hit what you wanted to the last time you did the fundraiser for CASA?
I had no idea how much we would make, but I think we hit almost 2,000 for a very small event. So I'm going to do a lot more outreach for this one. So I hope to make more for PAL.
So you said they do stuff for kids as well with their room. What are some of the things they do?
I know they have like a basketball court in there, and they have ping pong tables. It's like a youth center. Mm-hmm. But they have a very nice boxing gym. They have a full ring, and they have a lot of bags up. It's a very great facility for that. And Lindsay does a great job teaching all the girls about their teenage, yeah.
Well, that's really cool. No, I love that. And so what's the event? When can we go to this?
Okay, it's on July 18th. It'll be at the Police Activities League. It'll start about 9 o'clock. It'll take me about 3 hours to finish. And I will finish. I told my top students, I said, look, I'm making 65 rounds, even if you have to weekend at Bernie's me toward the end, okay? I'm going to make it.
Oh my gosh, was this open to the public? So anybody that wants to come in and watch, this is, wow. What kind of conditioning goes into that?
Most of it is relaxing and breathing. Because the guys aren't trying to hit me hard, and I'm not trying to hit them hard. So that extra conditioning that would go in a competitive fight, I don't need. I just need to move and breathe and stay relaxed, and I can make the 65 rounds. Where
did you come up with all of this? That this was a good idea?
Well, when I was getting towards 60, I thought, I want to do something for my 60th birthday. I said, I know, I'm going to spar 60 rounds. And then I told everybody after 60, hey, next one's 65, I'm going to do 65. So.
Oh my gosh, you got to keep this up for another 5 years, I guess. You can do the 70, huh?
Yeah, that's going to get harder.
And so the team that you had doing that the first time, or some of the same people that are coming back to spar these rounds with you?
Yeah, some of them are coming back, but also the person who runs another MMA program out, Carlos Hernandez, he's bringing some of his guys who are 20-something athletic guys. But I'm telling you guys got to be nice to the old man, okay? You got to show. But you guys can play. That's
so fun. Okay, so you had told me where you're located. Where are you guys? You said you're located by the airport?
Yeah, we're right behind the airport. There's a industrial complex right behind the airport, and right behind the Wyndham, which is across the street from the airport. And then there's my complex.
And then you have other people that teach at your complex too.
Yes, Carlos Hernandez runs the program, and he does more kids classes, and he does Muay Thai classes. His client base is younger than mine, but he does a great job. He was my former student years ago.
Isn't that cool to watch happen? Did you ever think you'd be in business with him?
I never thought I'd be in business with him, no, but I've always liked him. He's been a great kid, and when the opportunity came up, I was really happy to do it.
When did you retire from working with the city?
Yeah.
So when did that happen?
Well, see, I left the city. I was the finance director in Sanger for several years.
After you left the city? Oh, okay.
And then it's been a good 6, 7 years.
And then now it's full-time?
Yeah, full-time doing this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do you love it?
Yes, I do love it. I used to, well, when I was teaching part-time, I was doing my regular job, and I would do private classes on Saturday. I'd always refer to the other one as my grown-up job.
So now you get to do the kid job full-time.
Yeah.
But you train adults. I love that you train, like you said, like you gear it towards adults, because I'm going to send some people your way.
Okay.
And do you do specialty? Like, so what if a group of like 5 women wanted to come and you design a classroom and do stuff? Do you do stuff like that where you people kind of book you out to do some stuff like that?
Yes, I've done that. I've done it for a law firm.
Okay.
And if a group of women really like working out together, we can find a time spot that we can make that a regular time for them.
And then I mean, I know it takes a few sessions to like get some of it down. So someone can come and like do maybe a package or do for a month or a couple months and then say, let's do this, for now. They could design that with you, right?
Sure. Yeah, they can come and learn as much or as often as they would like. They would get my thing about if it feels creepy, it's creepy. Because I would try to get all those things in because I think those are the most important things to protect them. I like to kind of separate the self-defense. Like what I teach is real. It's self-defense. It'll work. But I really like to stress, have fun with this.
Okay.
Be awareness. Awareness is your best self-defense.
Right. Well, I love it. Where can we reach out to you? And then are you active on social media?
No, I need to be more active on social media.
Well, at 65, we'll give you a free pass on that one. Well, what about the school, though? Your partner doesn't do anything with that?
Oh, he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll follow the school. So what's it called?
And so his is the Oak. You can find him on...
The Oak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine is Crazy Old Monkey, but I'll get things up. Well, I'm the oldest guy in the system, so I call myself
the Crazy Old Monkey.
Yeah.
And then, so if we want to get a hold of you, do you have a number at the place, or is it?
Well, the best thing is just email me at Gary@CrazyOldMonkey.com.
Oh, that's easy. Gary@CrazyOldMonkey.com. And so that's also the website then?
That'll be my website when I finally get it set up, yeah.
Okay, just email Gary@CrazyOldMonkey for now, everybody. And then if we want to come to the event, any more details on the event on July 18th?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to put a flyer. Actually, on my personal Facebook, I will put a flyer out.
I'm going to put it on the show. So thank you so much for coming out, Gary. It's a really pleasure to meet you, and I hope we work together someday. Well, you could teach me some moves.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you do a lot of stuff, and I think it's so cool, all the different, because I know you from hot yoga, but you do all these other things. So tell us a little bit, our viewers, about what you do.
Sure. I actually, I'm going to go back to where I started. In Minnesota, I was a criminal defense attorney. I worked nationally in the addiction field, and I led Common Cause for 10 years. And then I moved here.
How did that must have been a big, why did you move here?
Well, my husband was a produce broker, and they wanted him to do it. I didn't want to do it.
I can imagine. That must have been a big change, because you were really established and set up there, too.
Right, and I love the wilderness, the woods, everything. But I thought, my daughter was a little kid, and it was like, I have time to be with her, and no winter, and it sounded intriguing. I knew nothing about Fresno. I thought it was Fresca. So I show up. I had written a job description before I left, and the business council had just started, and I was the first person they hired. And so I got to meet, like the major business leaders, and Dr. Welty was a founding member, who was the Fresno state president, and they were determined to come up with a new way to conduct the community business.
So you kind of were innovative, coming here to do something cool. That's pretty cool.
Right.
Good timing.
And you think about, my work history wouldn't sound like something a business group.
It does sound different. That's where I'm like, and you stopped doing law because you never did that here. You never got it in California. You were
right. I did practice for a while, but I discovered that I could not. In criminal defense, there were some cases that were so awful, and I was good at it. And when I realized I was sending people home with a monster, it just didn't work for me. And then I explored other possibilities, but it seemed like I either had to compromise my values or I would be bored. So
wow.
it just wasn't a field that would work for me.
And you did that for 10 years back.
Yeah, and then Common Cause was perfect because I had already lobbied for some changes at the legislature because I worked with the food co-ops. And
so what were some of the changes that you lobbied for?
Right, and then I worked with a prosecutor to try and change the statute of limitations on some specific areas. So I'd already had some experience. And when the job opening looked up, I'm like, good government, Common Cause. John Gardner was one of my heroes in 9th grade who started it. I thought, this is perfect. And it was wonderful because we had the state office, and then it's a national organization. And Minnesota at the time was the good government state, and we got stuff done. It was amazing because the elected officials were what we call civic stewards. Do the right thing for the right reason in the right way. Can you imagine?
So what's the switch when you came to California?
Oh, well, and of course part of it was they were part-time, so they had real jobs back in their areas where they live, in their communities, and there was a 12-step meeting room on the first floor of the state capitol.
Wow.
People were concerned about power addiction. The University of Minnesota recruited a class of community leaders to study it.
So what did they come up with?
Well, basically, the woman who actually wrote the book, Real Power, I've been in touch with her. Because basically, power addiction, power becomes, the more fear-driven you are, the more survival you are, the more driven you are, bigger, faster, more, the easier it is to be seduced by it. And she wrote a sequel to the book, Real Power, called The Critical Journey, which is doing the inner work so that you understand, why is my perspective like this? Do I have unhealed trauma? Was I socially conditioned? Am I thinking for myself? No, master thyself. Transcend thyself is the path toward virtue, which the pursuit of happiness was what our founders, at least some of them, understood to be the whole goal.
Right.
Because if you think about it, mental health, which we were talking about earlier, really is based on, are you living in integrity? Because if you're not, your body will keep the score, just like it will keep the score of trauma.
Wow.
So it's a pretty narrow path down that middle.
So now, like, how do you've used all of this for your experience now, all of your experience for what you're doing right now. So how is that, like, all kind of merged into what you're doing right now?
Well, watching the shifts now is really exciting for me because what we now understand about the human brain, what people now understand about health and well-being is so different. So for years, treating symptoms made sense. Now we understand better how it's essential that children in utero, children are supported, they feel safe, they feel seen. I think men and women are learning. We need to really integrate the strengths of the masculine and feminine inside ourselves and out in the world because in the end, relationships are everything. Trust is everything. I mean, we have a CEO roundtable. The last 2 sessions were either on mental health or retention, which is about relationships and caring. And so the workplace is changing. You know, the schools are trying to, schools, the center of community is a movement. How do we support people as they are as a whole person, not just teach the test? So I'm encouraged that each generation has evolved more. At the same time, obviously, we're in amazing transition that's very difficult with so many unknowns, and learning how to stay present and at peace. Needless to say, I do a lot of hot yoga because I think it's vital to be able to be present.
And is that something that you've seen kind of like people lose that ability, or you think everyone's kind of gaining that back now?
I mean, I sure did. I mean, workaholism, suck it up. I mean, I'm in the generation where if you were a woman, you were going to be in the workplace, you didn't bring your whole self to work. You focused on getting stuff done. And emotion in a conversation at work would have been, it just wasn't done. So it's an adjustment, because I do believe that it's important to have guardrails and an outcomes focus at work so that we don't make everything about us. I think it's really easy to get overly obsessed with it's all about me. When
Definitely.
Our country it's all about we.
Right.
Self-governance, collective self-governance. And if you can't do that for yourself, you're going to give your power away to everybody else.
That's very true. So what are you working on right now currently?
Well, the Business Council is really an ecosystem, and Janelle Taylor Cumpy is the CEO now. And the San Joaquin Valley Manufacturing Alliance, which I believe is the largest in the state by far, is a platform that's bringing together workforce and the supply chain and the manufacturers. That's a piece of the puzzle. Career Nexus is led by Kurt Madden, and he was the head of tech for Fresno Unified for years. He used to be a president of the Business Council. He worked in the nonprofits and he worked in the tech industry. So he's perfect to lead Career Nexus, which is paid internships. So all kinds of public institutions, private sector, everybody's kind of involved with paid internships. Change the lives of students who normally wouldn't have had that opportunity. And then Edgar Blunt, who founded Imago, which is a soft skills training organization. They prepare both sides.
Wow, okay.
Because if you're coming from, hardship, no mentors, you really don't know, and you go into a traditional workplace, the people in that workplace need to have an understanding. They may need more counseling, they may need more mentoring, more support. But if we want people that, if we want a vibrant workplace and a safe city, we need to have everybody see a future for themselves.
So you work with a lot of different people, and then you guys all come together to do the Business Council. Is that how it works?
Right. It's a membership organization.
How many people are in it?
It's varied now. It's smaller, but because of the initiatives, there's much more touching. So we, at first, outsourced execution to others.
Okay.
Because a lot of this figuring out how do you transform a community that's had concentrated poverty for decades, that was sort of like invisible in California. Because when I moved here, I'm like, okay, they call it the Golden State. You have third world poverty in your heart. Help me understand how that happened. You know what I mean? So understanding how it happened, what to do about it, has taken incredible volunteers from the private sector who have devoted time, their expertise, due diligence. I've worked with business leaders for decades. You couldn't put a fair market value on the time they have invested in this community because they care. And they have the skills. I'm not like, I was a philosophy major. I'm like,
me too. That's what I'm
I'm like, people that can operationalize. I'm like, oh, thank goodness.
That's so right now it's small, but like now it's like there's more reach. Okay.
And so there's another one called Heartland Compass that was inspired by a CEO in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where he realized that because one of his mentors, a larger company, created a platform to help employees with urgent needs, because a lot of people were coming up because they would hire people from welfare, from the criminal justice system, whatever. So they would run into all kinds of life situations. And by hiring a platform where there were navigators, they could help them solve those problems. Mm-hmm. Well, it so inspired our Business Roundtable, they've replicated it here. It's called Heartland Compass. And Kendra DeVasian, who used to lead First Five, she's amazing. She's the CEO of that. And so when you put these pieces together as an ecosystem, it's what businesses, employers do in their enterprise, together in the community. And then we are now a chapter of New California Coalition, which was started in the Bay Area in LA, to come up the middle and solve these intractable issues. Because as we all know, everybody's perspective is valid, it's just incomplete. And so unless you have the sensibilities to look at the whole first and really understand, you do this without thinking about that, you're just outsourcing costs and they're coming back after you. And this state has so many predatory lawsuits. Every new regulation adds more costs because there's more public sector employees, and then it adds more burdens to the businesses. So eventually the generative economy, the wealth creators, leave.
So when you guys get together and talk about all these things, what kind of differences, how do you guys get everything that's in here and that you guys are discussing out into the world?
That is an excellent question. That is something we're working on right now, as a matter of fact, because obviously the media has changed so much, and so have people. I mean, like, I'm a passionate book reader. I love Kindle, Audible, and hardcover. I was like, but a lot of people don't either have the time or the inclination to really go into context deep anymore.
Yeah, everything has to be really small, and then they're like, well, if you do it that long, no one's going to listen, and you're just dying, you're like, oh my goodness.
I know, and it's sort of like, well, but things are complex and multidimensional. So if you don't have people who are able and willing to do that, and then other people that trust them, because I'll have people say, just tell me what you want me to do. I don't want to read that. I don't want to do it. Just tell me what you want to do. And in some ways, that's fine. Everyone just needs to do their part. And some people are the frame pieces in a puzzle. And some people have specific tasks. All good. Mm-hmm. It's just, again, having an economy that supports inclusive prosperity and well-being is the challenge. And our country's gone through waves and waves and waves. And, I've been around long enough. I remember, violence in the streets and, protesting against the war. I mean, it's sort of like the longer you've been around, the more you realize a lot of people think the river started when they showed up. And they have no history. And I'm sitting here, I studied all the founding documents. They were inspired by ancient wisdom and the Iroquois Confederation. And, there were some possibilities of something happening. They weren't able to do it. They basically said, hopefully next gen, Mm-hmm. It's always been iterative and evolving, but it takes responsibility and knowledge. And we stopped teaching it in the schools. And having been an activist, I appreciate there's a time where it's about this is wrong, but stewards are problem solvers. Because if you can't answer now what, and you destroy something, who's going to fix it? Who's going to replace? And what I've come to appreciate is people understand eventually it is smart to work together to prevent these social problems. It's a moral imperative for some, that's where they come from, but it's smart because the costs of the juvenile justice system, the criminal justice system, welfare, on and on and on and on, broken families, kids without, all of those things can be prevented if we work together. And that's my hope. I guess I'm an optimist because I just think it's hard work. And some of the hard work starts with yourself. So
what is like the plan? I know you said it was kind of hard because of getting the knowledge out, because nobody wants to think for a long period of time or deeply and absorb all of this. What are some of the steps you guys are taking?
Well, one of my colleagues, I've worked together for years with him. He was the managing partner of Deloitte, and I was housed inside for 15 years during much of the crafting of the strategies and the vision. And so he's extraordinary. His name is Ken Newby, and he grew up in Firebaugh. He was the managing partner of Deloitte. He's lived in other places. He came back here. And his ability to capture how and what to do is incredible. And so we're working on a monograph series to help people understand what it's taken us 30 years as civic scientists, is what I think of. And my passion is
That's
why.
That's a good way of putting it, yeah.
And who.
Why and who?
Because I think in simple terms, it's like you have to become the change to lead it, teach it, and do it. And that's a journey. As Gandhi said, okay, how do I become? Well, you're going to have to learn all this stuff. You're going to have to learn new skills. You're going to have to develop some humility because no one knows. And you're going to have to earn trust because why would they trust you?
Right.
So you can see it's all relational, and it's honoring that everybody has a different gift to give. And when you can get business leaders with the extraordinary skills they have, these entrepreneurs, visionary, get it done, know how to build a team, know how to adapt to changing. I am so humbled by the private sector. Basically they are the generators. And we need to be supporting them, and we need guardrails because it's the business culture. People compete. There's all kinds of positives, but having led Common Cause in Minnesota, it's like, I don't want pay to play to control politics. I don't care what side you're on. Money shouldn't be what our elected officials use to decide what they're going to do. And the more fragmented we are, where's the platform for our elected officials to go, I want to do the right thing, but everybody who got me here doesn't want that. Now what?
Exactly.
So you have to have a platform where you come to them with a solution, with the media at your back.
So that's what you guys are working on now?
Yeah. Well, and again, this is what I learned at Common Cause, because my mentors were largely from the big businesses, the food co-op. I mean, I had all kinds of people I worked with, and there were cases like, for instance, the leaders of the caucuses decided they would create their own leadership PACs and control their members with money. And so everybody was mad, but nobody wanted to challenge them. So they came to us, and we did a report and called it the Minnesota Money Go Round, and had the caucus leaders on horses in a merry-go-round. I mean, it was, and we had all the media. And so one session, done. And then Archibald Cox, he was the special Watergate prosecutor. He was the national chairman of Common Cause. He brought members of Congress to Minnesota to go, how did you do that? And so we're in a packed rotunda conference room. It was super packed. And Archibald Cox gets up there. I mean, he was a national icon. And he just goes, we just want to know how you did it. And nobody said a word there. Because Minnesotans, if you ask a trick question, everyone goes like this. And finally, the Senate Majority Leader goes, well, it's like this. If Common Cause says we have a problem, we just fix it, because it's the right thing to do. So in other words, it wasn't how, it was who. This is why I'm so obsessed with who. We get the wrong people in elected office, we don't solve problems. We don't. They get worse. And sometimes the solutions make things a lot worse.
Do any of the elected offices, the people that are elected, work with you guys?
Oh, for sure. Like the California Coalition actually has a PAC.
Because that's what you were kind of saying, that you work with a lot of these people.
I believe most people run for office because they want to do something they believe in. I believe that. I have always believed that. So right now,
everybody is working well together. Well, for the most part.
It's good. Well, it's a new way to conduct the community business, because it's a time of complexity. We need to look at all the things, but we need to hold people accountable for getting things done. And this state is so overregulated. Even you talk to a teacher, they have to comply with all, it's like in the mental health field, what will help somebody, but you can't do that because you can't do that. You know what I mean? It's like,
that's very hard.
People are so frustrated that are in public sector work. So everybody's cranky. So what do we do? Well, and for me, we need, like, I was thinking about AI, to ask AI, okay, in this domain, analyze all the regulations, which ones are working, which ones aren't, and tell us what we should do, and see what it does. I don't know if you've messed around with it, but that'd be fun. But you just kind of look at it, because there's so many things that we could do if we got serious. And I do believe this is sort of like a replication of the 13 colonies. We literally have 13 regions, according to the state, economic regions, and they are as different as Florida and Maine. So we need to customize by region certain things and have shared principles that we all abide by. And, California wasn't founded like Minnesota with civic communal DNA. California was the wild, wild west. Get rich quick. You know what I mean? When you think about the cultural norms here. So transformation is critical here. Renewal is possible in Minnesota.
How do we keep up with what's going on, the progress that's going on? How does everyone watch it?
We're trying to find communications, because it's part of our strategic plan here, is how do we create a community? You're better at it than I am. You tell me. How do we reach the different audiences?
And what do people have suggestions for that? Where do they go to communicate that to you guys?
And a lot of people are using social media. Are
you very active on your social media?
I'm not, but my colleagues are.
Okay. Well, where do we go for that to see what's been going on?
Well, the Fresno Business Council has a beautiful website, and it's got a lot of links. Absolutely.
Fresno Business Council. We'll go to the links, and then they probably have a Facebook and all of that.
Yeah, there's all kinds of information on there about all this work, because one of the things that's really vital is when the change started, it was around 2000, we were offered a Venn diagram that had the economy, equity, and the environment. Like overlapping spheres. And we figured out, you know what, they don't like to work together, they don't really know each other, blah, blah, blah. So we put a big circle around the whole thing, big circle. And if all the leaders start thinking from out here and become civic stewards, we could get that thing to spin. But to become the change, we needed a set of guardrails. And Ashley Swearingen and I actually came up with the original 8 based on people that inspired us, that were members of the Business Council.
Wow.
A couple more were added, 400 people weighed in, we had 10 community values.
Wow.
We want to renew awareness of that, because all kinds of people endorsed them, they didn't, they're in books, I've written 2 books about the work.
Where can we find that?
Amazon carries them.
What are the books called?
The first one is A Bugle Call, and the first one was Civic Stewardship.
Okay.
And the CEO from Grand Rapids wrote the foreword to the second book. Pete Weber wrote the introduction, who's been a huge player in all of this. I mean, he was a Fortune 500 executive. He retired here early. He's been on this work for years.
Wow.
And he's brilliant.
Well, I would love to see that. I want to follow what's going on. So you gave us a website?
Yeah.
Do you have your own personal Facebook?
No, I don't. I've never really gotten into social media. For me, I like to go deep, and if I get into, I'll get lost.
So the website, so one more time, the website is
the Fresno Business Council.
The Fresno Business Council. So very simple. We're looking at all the platforms, and definitely just go to the website. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, for sure. It's been really fun.
Do you guys have any events?
Oh, yeah, we have events. In fact, we should invite you to the next one.
When's the next event?
It's in July. I think it's the 23rd, and Mayor Dyer will be speaking.
Sounds great.
And he's incoming chair of the big mayors of the state of California. Our region has a voice.
Keep up with what's going on.
Yeah. And you'll be my coach.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. I mean, come on back sometime.
I would love to.
Thanks for coming on the show today. It's your first time.
Thank you.
So you impressed me because you're busier than I was when I met you, because that's when I had like the 5 jobs and all this going on. Tell us what you got going on.
I got a little bit of everything. New music dropping, shows happening.
You've been doing music like your whole life.
A good chunk of it. A little over 10 years now. Mm-hmm. A little over 10 years. Started back when I was 15. Kept going, off and on, but now I'm at a steady pace.
Yeah, because I mean, hey, when you get to like kind of make any type of income off music, you're doing pretty good, right? And then you have a security company-ish that you work with.
I work with 86 Security.
And then you produce labels, or you have a label.
Yes, 97 Records.
97 Records. 97 Records, 86 Security. What's with all these numbers?
You know what's funny? I was just at the office today and I threw on this shirt, and they're like, 97. 86. They said the same thing.
I understand the 86. What's the 97? What does that mean?
97 was mainly just the year I was born.
Oh, okay.
So I threw it under the moniker.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so you have the record label. And then you actually throw events yourself.
Yes.
We try to keep up here.
We've done a few. We've done local events, done bigger events. Right now we're looking at doing a few in September. So
where are a lot of your events? I know you do a lot of stuff with Switch.
Right now we're doing stuff with Switch, Procreation Breweries.
Where's that?
Off of Santa Clara Street. Right off the freeway.
Okay. I haven't been there. Okay.
Yeah, they're very smaller venue, but very nice people. Always willing to help.
Yeah, I enjoy going to concerts at breweries. I usually have a good time.
We were doing stuff at the 559 Beers.
Ages ago, and we used to be open.
Yeah. Lost that contract. But
well, they've been closed for a minute. So now you're in breweries, Switch, and then you have. So then, who's right now on your label?
Right now, it is just myself and my artist 187.
And then 187 is performing July 3rd at Switch
for Fresno's Finest 3.
Okay. How'd you guys get together?
I met him around the same time I started working with RE.
Okay.
So we've been working together behind the scenes for going on 7 years now. And we've always thought about releasing music with me, but now we're doing it full force because now we're making moves.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, the fact that you still like put on events, and some people just don't even know how much work and how hard it is, and it's like you really have to like it and be willing to work a lot, because it's not as easy as people think. You don't just invite people to a place and they pay and show up and party.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of behind the scenes that nobody really understands unless you're doing it.
So what are some of the events you've put on before?
We've done, 559, we did the date, speed dating.
And that worked really well. That was really interesting. The first time I ever saw speed dating in person, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Never seen it before, but we ran with it. Turned out okay, good event. Hopefully people ended up dating. But we've done mostly music events, local events, youth events. Now I'm kind of doing more of just adult events instead of kids.
Oh gosh. What was the liability like on kid events? I can only imagine.
It was pretty serious. You had to have ordinance with a lot of people, and then certain venues you couldn't get into, so you had to make your own venues. So, but
it's good to have that experience though. So now when you do these other events, it's that like, okay, I got this. At least you don't have to have kids.
Yes.
No offense to kid events. We'll still do them and like them. Whatever.
No, and they're good for the community. They're good to shine light to the youth. But not every event needs to be a kid event.
Right.
You know. I feel that some events should be 18 and 21, specifically.
And that's nice because, I mean, when I was younger, I was going to, in that age gap, I love music and I like to go to like the all ages concerts.
Yeah.
So it's really important to have that. My niece just came and she's like 18. She's like, well, because she just likes the music too, and we're just like, what can we do where we can just go, you know,
as
just
a
hear the music.
Group,
I mean, like she's not gonna dream, but we want to go. I can have a drink. She doesn't drink, and we just want to go to the same place, you know.
And luckily, a lot of venues are starting to do the all ages. Like I said, I'm not too much of a fan of it, sadly, but that's just me. I worry about the liability. That's all.
What kind of music are you guys doing now, you and your artist?
I do a lot of stoner music, stoner rap. He does more of the new age stuff.
Okay. So together it's kind of a good little combo?
It's a good little mixture. I stay in more of the 90s, early 2000s lanes. He does the newer stuff. So.
But I like the fact that you guys are coming together to kind of like make it.
Yeah. And, you know, there's shows that I don't fit, but he does. There's shows that he don't fit, but I do. So it benefits for both of us.
So when's the next time you're performing then?
September.
So you're performing in September, he's performing in July, and then, and that's also your event, the September event?
September event is going to be 97 Records and 86 Security together. So we will be co-hosting that event.
Okay.
Right now we're looking at Fresno, Santa Cruz, and as of right now, those are the only ones I can really say.
Isn't it harder to kind of put it on events in other places, like further away, since you don't have the fan base there that you have here?
It is. It is a little bit more challenging, but with the right connections, it works itself out.
I'm sure it's more fun because you get to meet new people, so that's always fun. But then sometimes, you can't bring in the people because everyone lives here, so I get it.
And it's all about networking to that area. If you're going to Santa Cruz, you network to that community. If you're going to San Francisco, network with that community. Bring a few of your people, but mainly network with that community.
So if people reach out to you, someone's starting a new venue or just a certain night, you're like a one-stop shop because you have the entertainment and the security, which is huge. I don't even know anyone else that has entertainment and security like that, like you do, like especially internally, where you actually are provide entertainment.
Yes. I try to be a part of anything, music-wise. The 86 Security is actually my partner's deal. But he's gracious enough to bring myself on board. So I'm just trying to help him and show that, hey, I can do stuff. I can be an asset. Let's work.
Yeah, well, that's what you have. Like I said, the two biggest components that someone needs in planning a party: security and entertainment. So the one that's on the 23rd, what's going on? That's at Switch Nightclub. Who's all performing that night?
On the 3rd, will be
July 3rd.
It'll be Jody from the East, 187, JY Lucky. It's a Fresno showcase mainly, just brought to a bigger audience. You know what I mean? Mike Williams and Hoodstar are the ones presenting that event.
Okay.
So, don't know too much logistic-wise. I just know my artist got on.
How do we keep up with all the stuff that you guys are doing?
You can follow me at official.awiz on Instagram, awiz on Facebook, 97 Records on Facebook and Instagram. And I usually keep things pretty up to date.
And the biggest thing, where can we listen to the music? Is it on all the regular music platforms?
All streaming platforms. We got Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon. We also put music videos up on the label page.
And you have the new stuff too that you have with the guy that's like performing as well. You have some of the newer music as well?
Yes, we do have a few songs. We have Money on My Mind, which we're gonna probably re-record to make it sound a little better.
You don't like the first draft very much?
I will admit that I am not the best mixer when it comes to music. I do not know how to mix, so I will admit that. But that's why you have a good set of community, so you have a good team to help you and make it all happen. Nothing happens by yourself. You have to have a team. So.
And how'd you get into all this? I know it's like a start as a pastime when you're 15 and doing music, but how'd you get into like where it's like now, pretty much like your career, like the thing that you do, the thing you go in the morning, go to the office, all that. How did that become to this point?
Just never slowing down, always staying going. Even if you don't have shows, you still release music, still do content. You still go to events, even if you're not booked. That way, you're building the connections for when you do start doing shows again.
Because now it's like everybody in town, kind of. If you're going to go into any concert, odds are you're going to know somebody there.
Yeah.
Someone's going to know who you are.
About 85% of the time, I'm pretty sure I'm going to know somebody.
Yeah.
So, it's nice. It's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling walking in, somebody be like, "What up, Awiz?"
And it's good because you said you support other shows that you don't even go to or have anything to do. So do they notice that? So when you do their event, they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, he came to mine, so now I have to go to his." And do they reciprocate pretty well?
For the most part, yes. Not always. Some, egos fly in Fresno. We all know this.
No way. Not here.
So sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. But hey, you still show up. You still show face. Still had fun. And that's, that's what we look for. We look for a good time.
So what's one of the plans now that you have that you want to see like in 5 years? Like, I want to be there, they're doing this, that. What would you like to see?
I would like to see us branching out from more than Fresno. And I think right now we're planting the seeds to doing so. Just did a show in Oceanside Tuesday.
Ooh.
Then show Friday in Fresno. And then the Friday before that, we did a show in Fresno.
Gosh, so, you seem really busy.
Trying to stay busy. The more busy you are, the better it turns out.
And you guys will do private, if someone has a party and they want that entertainment, you guys are willing to do that as well?
Yes. We do private events, public events. Anything that can bring a party and bring the crowd, we're willing to do that.
Do you guys have something like your own equipment or not really?
We do.
Depends. Okay.
We do. I also work with a sound company to help provide the sound. So
they don't help you with the mixing you don't like to do?
That's where studios come into play.
Yeah, that's real. They just have the sound stuff. You need to go in the studio. What studio do you guys record out of for the most part?
Right now we record at The Spot. It's a little small local studio, but a lot of the top names come out of that space. Spot has recorded songs for myself, 187. I believe Fashawn even did a song there one time. Just whoever,
Who are some of the people you'd like to work with that you haven't worked with yet? some of the names that you're just like, wow, I really want to work with them?
Honestly, not too sure, because I'm just taking it day by day.
You gotta have somebody you want to work with.
I mean, and when it comes to music, probably Cottonmouth Kings, stuff like that. I've done shows with them already.
Nice.
But
you'd like to record something with them?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool.
Yep. Done shows, same thing with Moonshine Bandits. Would love to do something with them on a song. Open for them, but never done nothing studio-wise. So, those are a few goals.
Have you worked with Fashawn? You brought up Fashawn. Shout out to Fashawn, by the way.
Fashawn is an amazing person. I've not worked with him on a song, but we've been in crossing multiple times. I recorded at the Vault at Ramsey's studio a few times. So the connections are always there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I would think that would be like one of the studios that you would perform at and record at.
Yeah. Connections are always there. There's, hey, if Fashawn ever wants to work, always here. Always here.
I love it. Well, I love all that you've got. And I love how much you've grown, because I think I met you about like 3 years ago or so, and now it's like, I mean, you're doing something every Friday. Like,
trying to stay busy, trying to stay focused, and that's just the goal.
And so, your Instagram, which we're all gonna follow, if we like DM and then tell that we want to come to your stuff, are you really responsive about like saying, yeah, come out to this, come out to that? Can we get tickets from you a lot of times, or we have to go into like?
So when there are events, we do provide the tickets. We make sure people get tickets.
But if it's that Switch, a lot of times we.
But if it's that Switch, you go through Switch or any venue that's throwing it that's not technically ours, you would probably go to them.
Awesome. And then especially if you go to all these other places that aren't even like local, that sounds really fun. I'd love to catch you on one of those.
I will probably be at the O-Side Bar in September again. So
that was a cool venue.
O-Side Sports Bar and Grill. Yes, it was. Very, very tight-knit community.
And what did you say the brewery was again?
Procreations. Off of Santa Clara Street.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
I'm going to keep both of you. And then next time, will you perform for us?
Sure.
I would love that. And then you could bring your artist too, and you guys could do like a duo.
Yeah.
Oh my, we gotta do it before you get like too famous and you're like too good for us. So we gotta.
Ain't never gonna happen. I'm gonna stay local with it. So.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Hopefully I can catch you on that July 3rd event.
Thank you.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh, I must confess, dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.